Hi everyone, it's Jung here. Today I'm sharing a few projects that I made using the new Spellbinders Merry Everything Christmas kit. This kit is jam-packed with so much product. I made 7 cards, a pocket life spread, and I still have tons left over. Of course, since it's Spellbinders, the kit comes with dies and you can create that little car with either trees or presents on top. Included in the kit is double-sided tape and foam squares, red and white twine. You also get 25 pre-folded cards and envelope, lots of gems and holiday colors. You also get 4x6 cards and 3x4 cards that are great for pocket pages or even to use on handmade cards, and they are double-sided. I loved the 4x6 card with the cats on it and the big bold graphic Merry Christmas. I also love the Our Elf 3x4 card there on the very top. It has a little spot for you to add your photo of your elf. You also get a 6x6 paper pad and you get each pattern twice. These letters to Santa envelope embellishments are super cute. You can actually take that little piece of paper out and write something on it. You also get a fun stamp set with great sentiments. These are the die cut ephemera that I pulled out from the bag already, and you get 2 of each image, and a lot of it is gold foiled. It's so pretty. I really love the variety of images. Some are cute, some are more classic, and I love that little sentiment strips are included as well in this die cut pack. You will get some cute little tags. Some of them are glittered, and those are great for gift wrapping or in your pocket life pages. These are stickers. I love the clear stickers as well as the gold foiled stickers. You get some glittered red alphas, and I was saying that I'm so glad that numbers came with it. Those were the chipboard glittered stickers and the epoxy sticker sheet. You get 2 sheets of vellum, and you get 2 sheets of glittered cardstock in red and white. And then you get a ton of holiday colored cardstock. I love that they included blues and that silver and gold cardstock. And the great thing about that cardstock is it's double-sided. Okay, so the first card I'm going to use the dies to make the little card. And I decided to make the card with the presents on top, since in the example, you already see it with the tree on top. So I'm going to cut the body of my car in red. I'm going to cut a tire. I will cut the presents, the little ribbon part, and the hubcap. And the presents I'm going to cut out of light blue cardstock. I also cut pieces of the bumper on the silver cardstock as well. I'm going to die cut the car again in white because I need those little inlay pieces and the window. I'll cut another tire, and then I need another hubcap from silver as well as the other side of the bumper from silver. I wanted a big silver bow on top of my present, so that's what I'm going to die cut as well. So here are all my pieces die cut, and I like to assemble the little parts first, and so I'm going to add the hubcaps to the tires. Next, I'm going to glue on the front and rear bumper pieces. Since this particular cardstock is silver on both sides, it's really slick, and so the glue takes a little bit longer to dry. Keep that in mind. I'm going to stick on the handle, and then when I go to glue on the wheels, I notice that the rear bumper is a little bit messed up, but since the glue isn't dry yet, I have time to fix it. Okay, so next I'm going to work on the boxes of presents, and I'm using a Copic marker to create kind of a shadow between the present boxes. In the end, you don't really notice it, so this is probably an unnecessary step, but I left it in the video. So I ended up cutting the ribbon for the boxes in the same silver color, and so I'm just going to take some time and glue all of them onto the boxes. And there's score lines on there so you know where to glue. Next, I'm going to put the big silver bow together. Sorry, I was off screen a little bit there. There are 3 pieces, the tail, the loops, and the little middle knot. Next, I'm going to have a look through the 6x6 paper pad to try and choose a background for my card. And I was just showing you there that some of the pages have some beautiful gold foiling on it. I'm going to end up choosing this wood grain sheet with the trees on the bottom left. I went ahead and trimmed down the piece to about 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, which is slightly smaller than A2 sized. And now I'm going to use some white ink, water it down just a tiny bit to add some snow splatters to the background. Now this step is completely optional. I just like that it adds that little bit of detail to the background. Okay, now I'm going to add some foam squares to the back of the car, and I'm going to make sure that the foam squares cover the empty spots. And that's because I want to inlay the white pieces in there, and I don't have to glue it because that foam is already sticky, and you'll see what I mean when I flip it over here. So I'm just going to take the white pieces and then inlay them to the open areas such as the windows and the detail on the trim of the car. While I'm getting all these inlaid pieces in, I was thinking about what I could do for a sentiment on the card. I could either use these stickers or some of the die cut sentiments in the ephemera pack. And then I remembered about the stamp set, so I chose this sentiment, which happens to be one of my favorites, and it says, "All is calm, all is bright." And I'm using StazOn ink, and that's not the best ink for your stamps, but I love how crisp it always stamps, and especially with thinner images, and so that's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to stamp that right onto my pattern paper. I used some of the double-sided tape that came with the kit to add the pattern paper to the card base, and now I'm going to attach the car and then the presents right on top. And I was going to use that long string piece for the bow to show that the presents were tied onto the card, but I decided to leave the long piece off because it looks less cluttered that way, and I think that just the bow looks cleaner. The top left corner of my card was looking a little bare to me, so I decided to use the red and white twine that came in the kit. And I made sure to tie the bow on the upper left side. And I'm just using some reverse tweezers to help hold that in place while I tie the bow. I really love how this card turned out. It's one of my favorites. For my next card, I want to create a frame out of the red cardstock from the kits. I'm going to be using one of the square dies from the Spellbinders Classic Square Nestabilities. And so right now I'm just mapping it out because I want the squares to be perfectly even on the cardstock. So I'm going to frame this out for the cute little die cut cats that you see there. There are 4 cats, and so I want 4 squares. And then I am mapping it out in a way that I want there to be space right in the middle for a sentiment, and so I am keeping that in mind when I die cut these. I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil lines, and then I'll get everything set up in my MISTI to stamp. I know I want to heat emboss using gold embossing powder to kind of match the gold foiling in one of the cat's ears. And I had already picked out the sentiments I wanted to use, and it's this Happy Holidays. It's really cute with a little heart, so I thought it went with the cute little kitties. So I went ahead and used the powder tool just so the embossing powder only sticks where I want it to. And then I used Versamark ink to stamp, and then I sprinkled it with the gold embossing powder and heat set it with my heat tool. Okay, so after I laid out the cats, I decided that it needed something in the background rather than just sticking it to the card base. And so now I'm just going to have a look through the 6x6 paper pad again and try and choose a pattern to go behind the frame. I settled on this gray and white star pattern paper. It goes with the color of the cat, and it's not too busy where it takes away from the cats. So I trimmed the pattern paper down to size, and now I'm just adding some foam tape to the back of my red cardstock frame. I want it to pop up so it will give that dimension and it'll create that shadow. I'm just going to add some double-sided tape to the back of this panel, and then we'll stick it right on top of one of the pre-made card bases. I'm going to use a combination of the foam tape and the double-sided tape to adhere my cats. Now, I'm more of a dog person. Cats are cute too, but I'm definitely a dog person. What about you guys? Are you a dog person, a cat person? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get all the cats adhered. And then here's a little tip. Don't just use the foam squares. Use the pieces along the sides. You see I cut mine up and used them. Now I'm just going to take a little glitter brush and add some sparkle onto the presents and the little bows. And this card is done. I love how this card turned out too. It's another one of my favorites. Alright, onto my pocket page. This is one of my favorite cards, the 3x4 card that says Our Elf, and there is a spot to put a photo of your elf. I think it's about a 2x2 square, and so I printed off a picture of our elf from last year, and it fits perfectly in there, and the colors work great. That Santa picture is also one from last year, and so I used another 3x4 journaling card that says Merry and Bright, and I added a Santa die cut. And on this 3x4 card, I am putting one of the Letters to Santa ephemera pieces. And it's so cute that you can actually write on that piece of paper. You can take it out and write on it. So I just put We Love You. And now I'm just going to embellish with a few stickers, and then this pocket page is easy and quick, and I love how cute it turned out. I'm just going to slip these cards into the pockets, and this spread is done. How cute would this be for your December daily or December documented this year, or even your project life for December? Okay, for my next card, I already trimmed down a piece of the blue cardstock from the kit, and I trimmed it to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to this plain piece of cardstock by doing some ink blending. I'm using Distress Oxides in Chip Sapphire and Black Soot. And again, the beauty of these kits, you can make them as complicated or as simple as you want, and I just wanted to add a little bit more detail to my cards. So after I did the ink blending, I'm going to use the white ink again, and I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but this is white ink for like calligraphy, and it's perfect for snow or even stars on night skies. Once I get a bunch of that splattered on, I'm going to let it dry, which it dries pretty quickly, and then I'm going to add some of the double-sided tape to the back and adhere it to one of the pre-made cards. I needed to ground the card, so I decided to use the white glitter cardstock. I trimmed it down and then hand cut it to make it the shape of a snowy hill. I am really loving this glittered cardstock. There's not too much fallout, so it's not messy at all. Once I kind of have it in the shape of a hill, I'm going to attach that to the card base with some foam tape, and that gives it a little bit of dimension. And then I was debating on which die cut I wanted to use, whether the snow globe, that little cute deer, or the Santa, and I decided on the Santa. And then the sentiment I chose was from the glittered cardstock sticker sheet, and it says ho ho ho, very fitting for Santa. It looked a little plain, so I'm looking for another present that I can stick on there next to Santa. And they're kind of big compared to him, so I end up trimming this little one down. And it's still big, but it could be a bigger present. Who doesn't love a bigger present, right? Once I adhered the present, I thought the balance was a little off and I needed something at the top right, and so I adhered this blue star from the epoxy sticker sheet, and I love the way it turned out. For my next card, I decided that I wanted to use the red, white, and black color scheme. And so I already picked this black and white pattern paper from the 6x6 paper pad and trimmed it down to the same size that I've been using, 4 by 5 1/4. So I trimmed down a piece of the gold cardstock to a tiny little sliver, and you see it right there. I'm going to add it to my cardstock to add some interest and to tie together all the gold foiling. I already put some double-sided tape on the back of it, so it's ready to go. I used my T-square ruler to make sure it was straight, and then I trimmed off the excess and adhered this pattern paper to my card base. I'm going to adhere this die-cut sentiment strip with foam tape. Next, I'm going to stick on this circle die-cut with all the presents on it. And I kind of like that circle theme, so I was looking for other circle embellishments, and I stuck on this epoxy peppermint. And I noticed, since it's the epoxy, it's very see-through, and so you could see kind of the pattern paper behind it show through it. And so to fix that, I stuck it to a piece of white cardstock, cut it out, and I'm going to glue it on. And that way you won't be able to see any of the pattern paper through it, but it still has that shiny epoxy finish. I added on a glitter sticker, and then I try to find other small red and white elements to finish embellishing this card. I thought the red jewels were perfect for this card as well. They're round, they're red, and they just add a little bit of shine to add some detail to this card. I really love the way this card turned out. I didn't use any items outside of the kit except the liquid glue, not even ink, so it just goes to show you that you can make a really cute card with just the things from the kit. Okay, so my last card for my process video is going to be a simple one as well. I really liked this candy cane die cut, and so I chose the coordinating pattern paper from the 6x6 paper pad. And then I decided I wanted to pop it up on a circle, and so I used that same white glitter paper that I used before for that hillside. And I die cut it in a circle using the Spellbinders Nestabilities, I think Classic Circles die. And I'm going to pop up the candy cane right on top. So I'm going to adhere the pattern paper to a card base, and then my camera cuts off, but what I do is choose a sentiment, the same one that I used in my last card. I cut the ends to make a fishtail banner. I attached it right under the candy canes with foam tape, and then I trimmed off the excess on the bottom of the square so it would be a flat edge. I attached it to the card base with double-sided tape, and this card is done as well. I'm going to quickly go over all the projects that I made using this kit. The first is the pocket page spread. Next is my candy cane card, and I love that glitter paper. Here is one that I made off camera, and I used the tags for this card. It was really easy to put together. Here's another one that I did off camera, and I just used the die cut ephemera. Really easy to put together again. Here is the red, black, and white color schemed one, and the Santa, the little kitties, love this one, and my little punch buggy car. I really hope you liked my process video. It was kind of long this time, but I hope you don't mind since I shared so many projects. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will leave links to this kit in the info bar below, as well as my coordinating blog post. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the Spellbinders website. Have a wonderful day. Bye.